once again. We're back with CornerSpeak, and today I've got a special guest for everybody. Going to be doing a one-to-one with Daniel Louis, musician, steel pan player, and businessman. So, Daniel, I'm going to bring you in right about now. This is Daniel Louis himself, and we're just going to be covering some of the subjects that we think are going to be useful to ourselves and to anybody who might be listening. How are you today, Daniel?
Hey, good. Blessed, you know?
Yeah, it's good to
Yeah.
be able to bring you into the stream finally. Something we've been wanting to do for a while. So we've now managed
Yeah, we've
to
been
do
talking about it for a bit still.
I think quite a bit. So, Daniel, I've known you for, well, a fair long while now, since I kind of started playing music back in the day and took up the upright bass and just entering the jazz scene. I think that's where we crossed paths on some of the jam session circuits. I think it was probably one of Alan Wicks's Sunday jams where I first saw you getting up and performing anyway. And I won't say how long ago that was because, you know, we are sort of in the OG category, but it was a fair while back.
Yeah.
And you're still
Wasn't
playing.
it Goldsmiths as well?
Goldsmiths, yes, most definitely. That's where I did about 2 years with Lawrence Canty and ran into quite a few other musicians there and bass players like Adrian Bass, who's now over in Senegal. I'll be doing a show with him at some point in the future. You've got the likes of Larry Bartley. We're both moving from electric to upright bass. So we're studying electric bass at the time. And I actually used to do some afternoon courses there for like harmony and, you know, other musical related things. Because back then, unlike now, there were no Brit schools, no fame academies, and you couldn't go to study like electric guitar or R&B vocals at a university level. If you wanted to do anything outside of classical music, you pretty much had to formulate your own syllabus, as in attend workshops, join bands, do evening classes, whatever you could do to gain some academic knowledge. And you pretty much had to study theory from a classical perspective. Did you encounter that back in the day, Daniel? There wasn't so much of an opportunity for non-classical musicians to train in the community.
Well, I mean, you're talking about I say you guys from a conventional you know, point of view. Yeah,
now,
a conventional instrument.
Yeah. Rhythm section instruments. Oh yes, I keep forgetting this, that although the steel pan's been with us for decades, it's something I actually played when I was at school, secondary school. I was in the steel pan group, so it's been with us for a while. It's still not what you'll call a conventional band instrument, is it? Like rock and roll band sort of.
It's not a conventional. It's not considered a conventional instrument in the sense that it's not necessarily accepted in many institutions, but you know, America's making some really courageous headway with that, and so is England as well. You know, I mean, you know, as I said, as we were saying, you know, we also met in Goldsmiths College. You know, it was called Goldsmiths College back then. Now it's Goldsmiths University now.
I do believe so.
Before that, it was a uni as well, wasn't it? And then he went to college. It's gone back to a uni now. Yeah. But yeah, so the instrument itself, you know, has its own challenges as being accepted, but that's not really what it is. It's just I didn't look at it as anything more or less than a normal instrument, just like anybody else plays.
A melodic instrument.
Yeah, so with that sense, that's why I decided to obviously just go ahead and do my learning by going to places like Goldsmiths and so on and so forth. But first of all, man, I just want to big you up anyway, man, before we go into it, you know. So, you know, I've known you for a while as well. Yeah.
We're going back at least 3 decades.
Mr. Awadi.
and
Yeah.
counting.
So,
Yep,
you know, at the end
that's
of the
the
day,
name.
yeah, big up and, you know, blessed man. We've been on a lot of ventures together, you
Most
know,
definitely.
a lot of ventures together. We had a residency, we've done a few things together.
Yeah.
And you know, it's been great. It's been great, man. And you
Analog
know,
to
we've
digital
known
era.
each other for so many years. And you know, we always touch base on some kind of venture and some kind of thing that happened. And yeah, we've got a lot of history that is actually significant history also
Yeah.
in England, in relation to, you know, the music itself. Aside from the fact that, you know, my instrument is not conventional, but it's nonetheless an instrument.
Thing is,
You know,
Daniel.
you know, playing playing with people like Jason Yard,
Yeah.
um, and the likes. You know, those are the things that really, um,
Shout out to
you know,
Jason
are
Yard,
part of the history of
musician.
this country.
Yeah. I mean,
Sorry.
Daniel, tell the truth, yeah. Until I came across you on the music scene and a few other pan players, I'm literally talking about no more than one or two. Um, I only really used to see the steel pan in the steel pan, steel band Caribbean music context. I rarely saw it, out on the bandstand in the jazz context or, in a pop music context in the UK. Because once I came across Jaco Pastorius,
That's
I kind of saw the pan in a different light, and I was opened up to the whole jazz fusion improvisation world. Then
oh
I
yeah,
saw the pan in a different light.
yep, absolutely.
Hmm.
You know, those are the things that opened me up to knowing that my instrument could do more than just play, you know, calypso, reggae,
Sure.
and pop. You know, and
Yeah.
because of that, um, when I heard that's how I ventured into jazz,
Hmm.
and you know, when I heard jazz, I was like, wow, you know, where did this come from? Where the heck has this been? Where did it come from? And you know, I love it, and I want to get into it because of the fact that obviously I already knew from my own practicing at home, you know, scales, arpeggios,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
The rudiments.
you know, chord structures, 2 5 1s, 2 5 1s, you know, all the stuff that
Yeah.
you learn without, you know, if you're interested, you know, if you've got that zest, if you've got that panache, if you've got that
Alphabet of the
you
music.
know, that willing to, yeah, willing to take it there, because you know,
Well,
and then go through the hours of people
woodshedding.
of people hearing you practice
Yeah.
endlessly,
Annoyingly.
and you know, banging on the wall. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, shut that music off. You know, that kind of stuff. All that was going on.
Formative
Yeah, but
stages.
then, funny enough, the person who I was knocking, um,
Knocking on the
who
wall.
was knocking, actually was a musician.
All
Um,
right.
and he didn't actually really not that much.
He
There's
didn't
people
object.
upstairs and downstairs. There's a house next door, and that musician was that person was actually a musician, and he
Oh,
was in a band called Grand Union.
I've heard
And
the band.
Grand Union, eventually, he recommended me to Grand Union. His name's
Okay.
Jerry Hunt. He recommended me to Grand Union. And then I ended up playing with Grand Union as their pan player for many years,
Wow.
because they're an orchestra.
I
Uh,
see. I mean, how
they're an
large a band
orchestra,
are
and
they?
they pardon.
How large a band are they? Orchestra size wise.
Oh man, they go from they'll go from a 4 5 piece to a 35 piece to an 85 piece,
Huge band then.
which would be a choir and so on and so forth, and oh, many different types. But Grand Union is a grand union of instruments. All
I
the
see.
instruments that exist in the world have
Hmm.
been through Grand Union. It's a person named um Tony Haynes. And
Okay.
what happens is that he, you know, he's the person who's composed quite a few songs, but then also arranged a few songs from some of the different international musicians that passed through that band.
Well,
And
actually,
yeah,
I have a
so
question for
there
you.
was also a person who was in that. Sorry.
I have a question for
Can
you.
you just turn your volume up just a touch more, because I can't
Sure.
quite. Just
Okay.
a little bit louder, so a bit soft.
Yeah, Daniel, I have a
Yeah.
question for you, and this is leading off of what you just mentioned when you mentioned those names and the orchestra. You also play, which I found out quite late in the day, you play drums, and I'm guessing you know, like most of us, you kind of know your way around the piano as a second instrument, the keyboards, because you compose as well, don't
Yeah.
you?
Yes, definitely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that if because of the realizing that I could actually improvise,
Yep.
of course, it leads you on to it's a natural step that leads you onto that. I mean,
It's the
it
beginnings
should
of
be a natural
composition
step.
for many of us.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the beginnings of composition, because you play things that you enjoy, don't you? You play
Yeah.
things that you like, and then when you find a combination of a melody of notes that actually you haven't heard anyone else do before,
Yeah.
or you believe you haven't heard anyone else do before, then you
Yeah.
utilize that, and then you can develop it.
I
You know,
mean,
do you have my album there, Blues Lipso?
I don't have your album, although I do have one
Oh,
track, Toussaint Blues, that me and you ran through when we got together about a year ago for a brief rehearsal. Let me see. I can
right.
pull up a bit of it. Okay, we was doing it at a very slow tempo because we was just running the notes. Let's see if I can play a bit of that.
Me, who plays in my jazz club.
Oh no, that's Nolia. She's was actually rehearsing
That's not me.
in her
Definitely.
space. Okay, here we go. Toussaint Blues.
Yeah.
Yes, one of your
I guess we can
compositions.
talk while it's playing.
Eh?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll leave it in the background then.
Yeah. No problem. So it's one of those things, yeah, that I composed that for the great John Toussaint. I mean, I
Okay.
composed it, and named it obviously after him, being actually a teacher of mine when I was out there looking also to grow and develop, because the first time I met John Toussaint was with Clifford Jarvis.
Yep, I've played it a few times.
When Clifford Jarvis, who's no longer with us, a great drummer, great bebop drummer, he's had books written after
Once
him,
in a lifetime
written
experience
about
for
him.
me. As a bass player,
Yeah,
playing with a drummer of that caliber. Unforgettable.
Yeah.
We used to do the Ephra.
Once, yeah, see, this is what I'm saying. This is the history, that we
Yeah.
have. As
It's not books, is
musicians,
it?
and
I mean,
really the youngsters.
we live this stuff. It's not. If we was
Yeah.
of this generation, we'd probably
Yeah.
be reading about it.
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
or
Knowledge.
reading about it if we were into it as musicians,
Yes.
as artists,
Of course.
or we just literally wouldn't hear about it,
No.
or if you link up with the right people. But I think that really, when you link with the right people, you get to find out the information
You have
that is out
access
there,
to the
because if
knowledge.
it's meant to be yours, it's destiny. If it's meant to be, it's like it's like we're wearing the same color shirt. You know what I'm saying?
We spoke
Yeah,
about
I mean, we're both wearing red.
who chose red?
I mean, how many colors are there in the universe? Well, forget the universe. How many colors are there on Earth?
Daniel,
There's probably way more colors in the universe.
let me tell you something. You might
Sorry?
not believe this, just before
Yeah.
I went live, I grabbed this
Yeah.
and just put it on.
Yeah.
It wasn't even like a planned thing.
Bruv, listen, that's exactly the same thing that I did.
Yeah.
Just before I left the house, I just grabbed this, put it on, and just come and just dealt with it. Yeah.
It's funny.
So the thing is that look at that in
Yeah.
exactly the same way. This is how life is. You know, it's meant, if it's meant to be,
It will
the universe actually gives you
what
a
you need.
clear sign for you to see. You see, this is exactly how it was.
Yeah.
This is to show you that I exist.
Yeah.
You know, this is
you,
to show you that I exist.
You're not in isolation.
You little speck on the wall.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, this is to show you, yeah, don't try and mess with this, because hear what? It's bigger than you, and it's bigger than you could ever imagine or try to grab hold of and think. So don't try and get your head around it. Just flow with it and accept it.
Well,
you know,
that might lead us
and
on.
actually, you know, don't like for instance, don't think less, feel more, frown less, smile more, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, talk less, listen more, judge less, accept more. Yeah,
wise words.
Watch less, do more, you know what I'm saying?
Well,
complain less, appreciate more.
It's like something I said
fear less
earlier,
love more. You get me?
Yeah, remember when I said to you, sometimes if you just do what you feel you can do and you need to do in pursuit of something, just in the fact that you're making an effort and you're trying, obviously you're not sitting down with your arms open waiting for some kind of magical thing to fall in your lap. You're doing what you can, and often the rest will follow. Assistance will come from the most unlikely, unexpected places, just if you're actively creating some kind of movement towards what it is you're trying to build towards. You don't have to build the whole house yourself, pretty much is what I'm trying to say. Sometimes just to begin the process, if that's all you can do, sometimes is enough to get the wheel turning.
Absolutely. It's enough. And remain consistent.
Consistency is a big
thing. You just gotta stick at it, and that's what all the greats tell you.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? That's what all the greats tell you.
Yeah.
Grant Cardone. I've finished reading this book. I mean, I read it a long time ago.
Who is Grant Cardone?
And I want to go back through it again. I want to go back through it. I want to go back through it actually.
Could you give us
I
the
gave it to
title
the missus,
of that
and
book?
she's not even read. She's
Daniel.
It's called the 10x rule.
Okay.
It's called the 10x rule. Let me tell you something. If there's any book you want to get, if you want to develop yourself, you get this book. Because, pardon?
I'm going to look out for that. And also, we'll put that in the description for anybody who might be interested in looking it up.
Absolutely, man. Grant Cardone, he's a madman. People will look on him like he's a madman because, that guy who went out there and with nothing. He was a millionaire already, and then he went out with nothing and decided to actually develop a business in 90 days.
He's a self-made
man. And he managed to develop $1 million business.
I've heard of this guy
by shaving off his head.
I think I've heard of
this
guy.
Him,
I think I've heard. I came across somebody on the internet.
Man. You'd have seen him.
And they was offering a process where they'll show you how to go from 0 to $1 million or build a business, a successful company in a period of time. It could be that guy.
That's him.
Okay.
That's him. That's Grant Cardone. You know what I'm saying? He's just getting larger and larger because he's following exactly what he has laid out in this book, the 10x rule. Because if you want something, and then people tell you, oh, you have to simply just do this, and you'll get there. Then you don't just do this, you do this. You do way more than what it takes. And you do it fanatically, you do it consistently, you do it with a passion, and it will come back to you. Hence, my business ventures, because musically,
now this is
music is one part of it.
I was hoping we'd move on to, because I know you as a musician, others will know you as a musician, but you know, in the last few years, you've become much more than just a musically minded person. In terms of one area that a lot of us, well, yes, say we weren't taught this stuff in school. I think it might have changed now, you know, than this generation, Gen Z, millennials, I'm guessing a little bit more clued up to, you know, what to do with money, essentially. Whether they're in the higher end or...
Well, you might say that.
Am I wrong? That could well be.
Well, it's not that you're not wrong, but from another perspective, yes, because the same thing that you and I were learning in school, yeah, is the same stuff. I'm not gonna say shit. I'm gonna say the same stuff that they are learning now. They're learning the same stuff in school.
Okay.
The only thing there is new, we have new things. You know, that's what we have. There's new things. But as far as what the actual curriculum is,
yeah,
it's the same old big man. Now, what I mean by that is, I mean that they're still learning about Hitler, they're still learning about Shakespeare, they're still learning about if they're learning about Mozart, in music, because you know I'm a music teacher. I'm teaching music, but
of course.
But I'm now in the pupil referral section now, so I'm working from that perspective. But what I'm saying is that they're learning the same. They're not learning, you know, they're not learning how to become wealthy. They're not learning how to change the parameters of their families' lives, who are all working class, hard grafting people who teach you to just simply, you know, get good grades, get a good job, and settle into that for the rest of your life until you can't work anymore.
Well, Daniel,
they're not learning.
Let me just pause.
They're not learning how to become entrepreneurs.
For 2 seconds, I want to ask you a question. Why is it I see us as coming from a generation where, you know, you look at our parents and, you know, those who came here during the Windrush, the 60s, 70s, 80s and onwards, you know, pre-first generation, and we watched them working hard for most of their lives. We were sort of instilled, aside from the education thing, which is still, you know, the ticket now, the thing was work hard and good things will come. And we're in an era now where these generations, they pretty much believe, forget the work hard on its own, work smart. It's like they've turned it on its head. Why is that? Are they improving on their parents? What we learned?
Sorry, you know what? Can you say that again?
Yeah.
What was your actual question?
We grew up in an era where we was taught work hard, and if you're not somebody who's work shy, you put in the hours, you'll get something at the other end of it.
Yeah.
And it hasn't always worked out that way for, you know, at least my parents' generation. And you look at the you know, Gen Z, millennials, the digital era, I'm hearing this work smart, more than I'm hearing work hard.
Yeah, because they realize that all of that stuff is a lot of BS, basically. It's not conducive with the way they're thinking now. That's why they're called millennials.
Yes.
You know, on another level, these guys are they're the new blood, they're new spirits, they're new souls.
We had pens and paper.
So they're gonna have a different level of thinking. That's why they call them the millennial.
Yeah.
But that's why this term millennials has come up, because they're new souls.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the great and powerful and wise Dr. Malachi Z. York, who is my spiritual leader, said that, you know, after the 70s, okay, that new souls would kick in.
Okay.
And these new souls have got a different energy. They're also warrior type. They're also more warrior type, which is why some of the wars, on the streets, you know, with some of these boys that are walking around with crazy, you know, Rambo knives that, you know, the knife just
Modern
looks
day
threatening by
warriors.
itself. The knife alone looks threatening, much less them what they do with it. And they're so stupid, and the things that they do with it. But they've got a different mindset, different
Complete
attitude, a different
outlook.
approach, a different ethos as far as, like, you know, how they want to get what's theirs.
Daniel,
but you know, we're going a little bit wide in the conversation, or I'm going a bit wide. We're going a bit wide in the conversation.
I want to pull it back.
The same thing comes back around and applies to music also, because there's new things that are coming up in music that well,
look at the analog to digital shift. We grew up in the digital era. I mean, analog era. You wait to make a tune. You go into a studio with a bunch of musicians, a tape machine, and you do that in as fewer takes as possible. Now you can drop somebody in. You can do the whole thing on your phone, a laptop, or two people in front of a computer.
It's amazing.
It's a major shift.
Yeah, it's amazing.
I want to show you something, and it's still along the lines of what we've been talking about. I think this is the guy you were speaking about. Let me turn it up a bit.
Yeah, that's Grant Cardone.
You had to dream to be able to create your ideal
So
life.
this is what
Folks, you got to quit working for the people you
were talking about. I think.
You got to quit working for a paycheck. You got to quit just getting by, and you got to quit setting goals based on just money. You need to base your goals and your desired outcomes on your dreams. You know, you need to think bigger, dream big. You need to go to work for your dreams, the things you've always wanted. And then you'll be inspired. And then you'll want to make your dreams happen. Then you can come up with a plan and say, hey, this and this and this will make this dream happen. Would you not be fully engaged in life?
So I guess that's some of what he's put into his book. Let me see if I can find the book itself.
That's his principles.
In this video, I will present the main 5 takeaways.
Yep. The 10 principle rule.
Or domination mentality, and how to be the alpha of the industry. The overall main points that Grant Cardone makes regarding how to reach extreme amounts of success can be divided into 2 parts: extreme 10x goals and extreme 10x action.
So Daniel, you'll say this is a good book to read if you wanna, you know, broaden your knowledge and get some good, well, direction on how to, at least financially, put yourself in a better situation.
On all levels.
All levels.
On all levels.
I see.
It's not just financially whatsoever. Okay. Finance has got nothing, is literally nothing to do. It's literally your mindset. Okay. You know, if you wanna, let's say, you know, if you wanna be the greatest bass player in the world, you know, you
chef,
which is a great title.
Director.
You know, you can set yourself up for that
tennis
by looking at what the greats have done, and then you know, applying yourself. Okay. Obviously, we know what it takes to achieve our level of mastery on our instrument already.
A lot of repetitions.
Yeah. So everything is repetition. We know that rehearsal is second nature to us. We have to do that. So it's not that. It's actually thinking way bigger than that. Laterally is not even the word, because of the fact that, you know, if you want to be that, and you have that aim and that goal, let's say, you know, Stanley Clark or
Marcus Miller, or, James Jameson.
Marcus Miller, who I got to play with in the North Sea Jazz Festival.
Really?
You know, it's like
I never heard that story.
You just set your goals, man.
Goodness.
You just set your sights.
Phenomenal.
and look at the beautiful things and the difficult things that they've done, and then just compose a piece like that.
Yeah.
And then you have to 10x everything, because like I'll give you an example. Like, he gave a story, Grant Cardone gave a story where he was emailing, he had his team emailing people like literally every day or every week or every day or something like that. Yeah. And they were coming back. The feedback that he was getting was, look, people are actually starting to hate this. It's just too much. What we actually suggest. Pardon?
Like carpet bombing him with
that's
spam
right.
and messages.
That's right. Literally killing the, overkill.
Jamming the email boxes.
As far as
inboxes.
Yeah, with all this latest information and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And they wanted and then wanting to obviously keep it fresh. They continue to like put new stuff out, new things. But I mean, everyone's heard of Grant. Everyone's heard of everything that the company was doing. And he said that they had meetings, and in his meetings, board meetings, they're saying the advice that we're giving you right now is that you need to slow it down, because this is just not working. It's not working this, because people are actually complaining, and people are leaving. People are cursing out the business.
His staff members.
And this is his staff members coming with feedback. Yeah.
Okay.
And he said, he in the book, he's saying that he was literally going to stop. He was going to, because the evidence was overwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was that he something came over him, you know what I'm saying? And he said, no, we don't need to do this. Yeah. As a matter of fact, let's go even harder. Okay. And start to, do it and become more artistic, with the way that we're doing it, but we are not stopping. Actually, we're going to double and treble what we were doing before.
I hear that.
And yeah.
Have you heard the phrase?
Obviously, he's
go hard or go home. It just came to mind when you said that.
That's
yes,
it.
Yes.
That's it. And he almost gave up, because actually what his whole way of doing things is, his whole movement in life, he realizes that that's how he was from a child.
Okay.
This is not something that came up last week. He was actually like this from a child, always overdoing things, always the person that did way more than everybody else, exaggerating things to the point where he used to get ridiculed and run down by people anyway.
So it's in his DNA.
But he's taken.
It's not like something he's learned. That's just him.
Yeah, it's not something he's learned. It's something that was in him, but he didn't regard it as an asset previously.
It was a negative.
It was more of a liability. So what he decided was, you know what? No, we're gonna go harder. We're gonna go double, and and when the customers come in, as soon as they leave the store, okay, we're gonna actually call them and tell them, listen, we forgot to mention to you that we've got something else that's free that we'd like you to come back and get.
Yeah.
And they did that.
Engagement.
And their customer base grew exponentially, and then they doubled and trebled and quadrupled their their annual income, their annual earnings, the GDP and stuff like that for that company. So yeah. So the thing is, if you go and listen to the naysayers, in something that is your dream.
Well, why bother? I mean, you could do something else. So you've been at it for so long. Don't give yourself a break.
Yeah.
Take a holiday, or look.
You take a holiday. Yeah, I'm gonna carry on.
You have to wear the shoes to know how they feel.
Take a holiday from your mouth. Take a holiday from being negative. Why don't you jump on board and actually support it rather than deport it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that. We've all experienced.
So this is the way to do things in life. And the thing is that I'm telling you, with my first album, which is called Blues Lipso, I wish because I'm not even going to say how many years ago that album was done.
Okay.
I wish that I had the foresight to see, and I did, because I was looking at people like Courtney Pine,
Yeah.
and I was saying, you know what? Yeah, he puts an album out every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Regular.
But I mean, when I had created my album, went through all the work of putting it out, getting the sponsors.
It's not an easy process, is it?
Sponsored to put it out. Getting the 10, 11 musicians to jump onto it.
Yeah.
And contribute to it, and they did that all with nothing up front, and then I ended up giving them all a small amount of money for it. And I was saying to them that, you know, later on, I said to them, when it gets published, you know, which I had the confidence it was going to get published. I said, when it gets published, man, I'm gonna give you, obviously, like, you know, more money on top.
Yeah.
But I just I made them all sign an agreement, because I actually went to a solicitor's company. Whatever you call it, solicitor's company, and they gave me a contract, which I gave to each of the musicians to say, well, okay, boom, I'm going to give you X amount. Yeah, I attempted to do it properly. I gave them X amount, which is 30% or something of the fee. Yeah. Now, and then the balance, you know, which was going to be which wasn't great, for the completion. So what ended up happening was that after the album, you see, this is why getting sidetracked is a really terrible thing, because I got depressed from actually creating that album. I didn't realize it was depression. I didn't realize it was anything. I was just disappointed with the outcome of the sound, and I was literally what's it called, critiquing everything on every single note on the album.
You become a perfectionist,
and yet to a degree, an over perfectionist is actually a killer. It can kill your vibe. Yeah, you know, it can kill your creativity. I would go as far as say it can kill your creativity too, because instead of me just saying, right, that's one, let's move on to the next one. And, you know, if I had done that, jeez, I would have had so many albums out. Even though I was putting out the knowledge that I had that Courtney Pine was putting out an album every year.
Yeah.
You know, and he's putting an album out every year, and yet instead of me just like going ahead and doing that, because, you know, you look at success and then you just emulate it. Yeah. I was on the longest tra-la-la, I call it Jackanory, roundabout procrastination on creating another album.
Daniel, I wouldn't be too hard on yourself.
So much time passed.
It's a learning curve. And, you know, until you do these things, a lot of people...
No, you see, I know this now.
Okay.
I know this, for the last, 10 years? Yes. Yeah, 10 years I've known this. 10, 12, more than that. Yeah. That I've known this. I'm just saying that I can see the depth hindsight of, in hindsight, what I could have done to grow and develop what I have and
continued on,
you know, develop things on that side. So this is why, you know, I've also thought, well, let me just keep developing myself and grow and move on and take it to a level where I can succeed at other things as well as this, because
I've had a similar experience, and there came a point where I said, look, I'm just gonna be consistent with this thing. You know, I've been in and out of different aspects of music, be it the songwriting, be it the, you know, taking a pause on the upright, be it stepping aside from doing music and then stepping back in. And I reached the point, I just said, you know what? There's no off switch now. It's like there is no backwards and forwards. Yeah. It's just movement in one direction. And that's what it takes sometimes.
Absolutely.
To build consistency.
Yeah. I agree. You know, I was saying all of that to really say that, you know, if I had known, like you said, in hindsight, you know, there's no way that I would have taken so long, and I would have just, if I had had the 10x rule back then, even though it was, oh man,
a mentor, some guidance.
See, now this is,
keep going, Daniel.
Now this, there you go. It's we're just moving on now to
you're in the lane.
A very important
don't pull to the side
of this. You need to have mentorship.
Yeah.
You need to either, you know, if you can't get close, if you're sitting at the wrong if you're sitting at tables that are not giving you success, you're sitting at the wrong tables. You know, you need to sit at bigger tables.
Yeah.
And that means that, you know, if you don't know someone, you need to get to know them. You know, back in the day when we were doing it, there was no text, there was barely texting. And you know, but look, you know, phone numbers was everything. You know, you call someone,
we had landlines,
and you know, people would appreciate your call too.
Yeah.
It was all landlines.
And the phone box, the 10 pence or 20 pence phone box.
Of course.
On the high road. If it worked.
Yeah. Before that, it was 2p, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Phone box, I think.
Yeah, 2 to 10 pence.
Yeah, something like that.
Forget the mobile.
10p's.
Forget emails.
Yeah, forget mobile. What was that? That's sci-fi, man. Mobile was sci-fi back then.
Definitely, it's you know, almost unfathomable.
And then
if you think
when you
back.
see the guy walking around.
Oh, the bricks.
You see the guy walking around with a big, with a brick. It looked like a little ironing board.
City workers.
I mean an iron, like
it did look like an iron,
cable, white. Yeah, it looked like an
iron.
And
the faxes.
And then you hear like in the tube station. In the tube station, you hear.
Just me. That was not common.
And everyone's looking like,
not a common sight.
Wow,
who's that?
This man's got a phone
for a job. Yeah,
and he's in the underground. Wow, man, technology's on another level.
It was fascinating.
Man takes up the phone and like, hello, how's it going?
Listen, even the first mobiles, when the first time you got on the bus and you had that mobile phone and it rang, and like 90% of the bus didn't have a mobile phone, and it's like, hello. Until it became common.
Yeah.
Analog to digital. Wow. Well, you know what, Daniel?
Yeah, man.
We've covered covered some lengths and breadths of time, and I think you know, the fact that we're still drawing breath and we're still on a mission and we're still on point with what it is we're trying to, you know, keep going with the movement. I think we should touch base again and have another one of these catch-ups and go further into some of these subjects, because there's a
we need to
generation coming up behind us, and now we have the technology. If I was a youngster again, I would have liked to have been able to access some of the older guys and hear from their experiences and not just have to get it from books, although books are essential too. Look, back in the day, you had to spend time with people. You had to know people to extract that knowledge outside of books. But now there's the, you know, social media, the internet, and as long as you can find the voice. So I think we have something also to contribute if we can take the time to have these conversations. I would just
absolutely. Hey, you know, why not, bro?
Daniel, is there anything you want to tell people about the some of the webinars or things? I know you're doing a few things on Zoom, and also on the music side, anything going on that you want people to know about. And we'll have all of Daniel's relevant links in the description, so yeah, you can track him down and catch up with him that way. But is there anything you want to close on, Daniel? Even if it's a message.
There's info. Say that again.
Even if it's a message.
Yeah. Well, I think the message is just anything that you put your mind on. It's extremely important to, if it's tugging on your heartstrings, then let nothing or no man, woman, or child even stand in the way of it. Because as the book, there's a book, a very, very famous book that at least 150 very successful people who also happen to be millionaires contributed to, called Think and Grow Rich.
I've heard
that.
About
doesn't mean that you're thinking about growing rich. It means that it says anything that the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Okay. And that's literally all it comes down to. And it doesn't matter if you didn't get to where you were supposed to get to in school. That makes no difference whatsoever. I mean, literally none. Yeah, none. I'll say it again, none. With a little, what's the name of my face?
Yes.
Because
in that ghetto
it's
style.
literally whatever you have in your mind, that's in your heart, that came from a genuine place, from the source.
Yes.
That you don't even know where it came from.
No.
You know what I'm saying? You don't even know where it came from, but you think it, and it touches your heart and warms your heart. Stick with it.
I hear that.
Also, I would suggest that people, whatever it is you have, whatever your dream is, okay, you create a vision environment. There is a vision board, which is, I am going to achieve earning £500 a month by the 21st of December 2024 or 2025. Yeah. Some people can do it quicker, some people can do it can take longer, or do it shorter. You can even move fast or slow in this. Any of those. There's a vision board which you take and you write it up, and then after stick it on the wall. But that's not as great as a vision environment, because with a vision board, you put it on the fridge, and before you know it, it's literally blended into the background.
You're not even looking at it,
and you will not see it. But if you have a vision environment where you stick it up everywhere with colored pictures of exactly what it is you want, okay, then those things are helping to remind you to stay focused, because you've got all of this social media that's going to take you away, and you'll scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll. When I take train to work, I and you sit in the trains that we have now, you can see from end to end. There's no carriages anymore. It's literally from one end. If the train's 100 foot long, you can see from one end to the other, and all you're doing is seeing people looking down into their phones. It's literally mind control.
That's where we're at.
And the scrolling. So really and truly, I'm doing the same thing myself.
Yeah.
So totally. I need to, but what I do is I listen to books, or I do what you call income producing activities.
Yes.
As opposed to just sitting there scrolling. So what are your income producing activities? If it's not income producing, then it's not. And if you do the little bits every day, those are the things that enable you to get to where you're going to get to. Just do little bits every day consistently. That's what I would say. That goes for your music. That goes for your artistry. Okay. It goes for everything. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, hopefully we'll talk about some music next time.
Yes.
We'll talk about some more music when we're on here next time, because we covered a few different things. But you know what? We are multifaceted beings, and we don't have to be limited to any one particular genre, direction, code, or whatever.
Daniel, it's been a total pleasure and privilege having you here today. So just like to say to the CornerSpeak audience, you've been listening to Daniel Louis, musician, steel pan player and businessman, and myself, CornerSpeak. So we'll be back again. All his info and mines will be in the description. Thanks for spending time with us. Be good, be safe, be creative. We almost out.